Have you ever felt like your soul was shattered into a million pieces? Like the people you trusted the most ripped your heart out and left you bleeding on the floor? Maybe it was betrayal, maybe it was loss. Maybe life just keeps hitting you so hard that you don't even recognize the person staring back in the mirror. If you've ever felt that kind of pain, the kind that makes you question if you'll ever be whole again, drop 111 in the comments. Because I see you, I feel you, and I know what it's like to stand in that darkness wondering if the light will ever return. Your emotions do not control you. You control them. This truth is one of the most powerful realizations you will ever have. Most people go through life believing that their emotions are in charge, dictating their actions, their moods, and ultimately their destiny. They feel anger and lash out. They feel sadness and withdraw from the world. They feel fear and stop themselves from taking action. But here's the reality. Your emotions are not in control unless you let them be. They are signals, not dictators. They are messages, not masters. When you understand this, everything changes. Think about how often people say, "I can't help how I feel." That's a lie they've told themselves so many times that it's become their truth. But feelings are not facts. Feelings are fleeting. They come and go like waves in the ocean. But the ocean itself, the deeper part of you, remains steady. Imagine someone cutting you off in traffic. You feel anger surge through you. Your heart beats faster, your jaw clenches, and your first instinct is to yell or react aggressively. But in that moment, if you pause and recognize the emotion for what it is, just a fleeting chemical reaction, you regain control. You can choose to take a deep breath and let it go instead of allowing that one moment to ruin your entire day. This principle applies to every aspect of life. When you experience heartbreak, you feel devastated, like the pain will never go away. But if you remind yourself that emotions are temporary, you understand that this pain will fade and you will rise stronger than before. When you feel self-doubt creeping in before a big opportunity, you can acknowledge it without letting it stop you. The key is awareness. The moment you become aware that your emotions are simply reactions, not orders, you begin to master your mind instead of being a slave to it. A great example of this is a story about two fighters preparing for the same championship match. One wakes up on fight day feeling exhausted, his mind flooded with doubt. He tells himself he's too tired, too nervous, and not ready. Because he believes these emotions control him, he hesitates, fights half-heartedly, and ultimately loses. The other fighter wakes up feeling the same exhaustion, the same nerves, but instead of letting those emotions dictate his actions, he acknowledges them and decides to push forward anyway. He tells himself, "I may feel tired, but I will perform like a champion." He steps into the ring with full focus and wins. The difference wasn't skill, it wasn't strength, it was control over emotions. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. It means recognizing them, understanding them, and choosing how to respond. When you stop reacting impulsively and start acting with intention, your entire life transforms. You become unshakable, unstoppable, and truly in control of your own destiny. The past is a place of reference, not residence. Too many people live their lives trapped by what happened to them, reliving old pain, regrets, and mistakes as if they are still happening in the present. They let their past define their identity, their choices, and their future. But the truth is, the past is not meant to be a prison. It is simply a place to learn, to gather wisdom, and to grow. It is a reference point, not a home. Every experience you've had, good or bad, has shaped you. It has taught you something valuable. But holding on to past failures, betrayals, or heartbreaks only robs you of your present and future. People replay old conversations, dwell on missed opportunities, or let one bad chapter convince them that the entire book of their life is ruined. But you are not who you were 5 years ago, or even yesterday. Every second you are evolving, and the only way to truly move forward is to stop living in what was and start focusing on what can be. Imagine someone who once dreamed of becoming a musician. They tried, but their first few performances were met with criticism. Instead of learning from the experience and improving, they allowed that failure to define them. They told themselves they weren't good enough, that they would always fail, and so they quit. Years later, they look back with regret, wondering what could have been. But the problem was never their talent. It was their decision to stay stuck in a past moment rather than using it as a lesson to grow. Contrast that with someone who faced the same criticism but saw it as feedback rather than failure. They analyzed what went wrong, improved, and kept pushing forward. Instead of being held hostage by one bad moment, they used it as a stepping stone. Over time, they became better, more confident, and eventually achieved the success they once doubted. This is the difference between referencing the past and living in it. When you treat your past as a guide rather than a destination, you free yourself to create a future that isn't dictated by old wounds. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become. And the moment you stop looking backward and start moving forward, everything changes. Every setback is a setup for a stronger comeback. Life is full of challenges, failures, and unexpected losses. Everyone faces moments where it feels like everything is falling apart, but what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck is the ability to see setbacks as opportunities rather than endings. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. The obstacles you face are not there to break you, but to build you into the person you need to become. When things go wrong, it's easy to feel defeated. People get fired from jobs and believe they'll never find a better one. Relationships end and they convince themselves they'll never love again. Dreams fail and they assume they weren't meant to succeed. But what if every loss was actually redirection? What if every failure was preparing you for something greater? The truth is, setbacks often push you toward a path that is better than the one you originally planned. Take the story of an athlete who spent years training for a championship, only to suffer a devastating injury before the biggest competition of their life. At first, the injury felt like the end. Everything they had worked for was gone in an instant, but instead of giving up, they used that setback as fuel. They focused on recovery, trained smarter, and came back stronger than before. When they finally returned to competition, they didn't just win. The setback forced them to grow in ways they never would have otherwise. This applies to every area of life. Some of the most successful people in the world have faced massive failures. They lost businesses, faced rejection, and struggled through dark moments. But instead of letting setbacks define them, they used those experiences to learn, adapt, and come back even stronger. The key is to change your perspective. When life knocks you down, don't see it as the end. See it as preparation. Every setback is teaching you something, refining your character, and making you more resilient. The pain you feel today is shaping you into the person who will rise tomorrow. So when you face failure, remember this: it is not over. You are not done. This moment is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your greatest comeback. And when you finally rise, you will look back and realize that the setback you once feared was actually the turning point that made you unstoppable. You are worthy of the love, success, and happiness you keep denying yourself. Too many people go through life believing they are not enough. They convince themselves they don't deserve happiness, that they aren't smart enough, attractive enough, or talented enough to achieve their dreams. They settle for less than they deserve in relationships, careers, and personal growth because deep down, they don't truly believe they are worthy. But the truth is, self-worth is not something given to you by others. It is something you must claim for yourself. Every time you talk yourself out of an opportunity, every time you sabotage your own happiness, you are reinforcing a false belief that you are unworthy. But ask yourself, where did that belief come from? Were you told as a child that you weren't good enough? Did a past failure convince you that you're not capable? Did someone hurt you so deeply that you started to believe you weren't lovable? These are just stories you've been carrying, but they are not the truth. The truth is, you were born worthy. You do not have to prove it. You do not have to earn it. You simply have to accept it. Imagine an artist who has a passion for painting, but never shares their work because they believe no one will appreciate it. They tell themselves they aren't good enough, that their art has no value. So they keep their talent hidden, never realizing that their work could have inspired and moved others. But one day they decide to take a risk. They submit a piece to an art show, and to their surprise, it is met with admiration and praise. The same work they doubted for years was always valuable. The only thing that changed was their belief in themselves. This is how life works. The love, success, and happiness you desire are already within your reach, but you have to believe you deserve them. No one else can do this for you. If you don't see your own worth, you will push away opportunities meant for you. You will stay in places that drain you instead of choosing what nourishes you. But when you decide that you are worthy, everything shifts. You stop chasing validation and start attracting what aligns with your true self. So stop denying yourself what you deserve. Step into your power. Love yourself enough to walk away from anything that doesn't serve you. Choose to believe that you are enough, because the moment you do, the world will start to reflect that belief back to you. Your future is shaped by the choices you make today. Every decision, no matter how small, is a step toward the life you are creating. People often think their destiny is determined by luck, circumstances, or the actions of others, but the truth is, it is built by the choices they make every single day. The way you spend your time, the habits you build, the risks you take, and even the things you choose to ignore, all of these shape your future, whether you realize it or not. Too many people wait for the right moment to take action. They tell themselves they'll start working on their dreams when they have more time, more confidence, or more money. They put off their health, their goals, and their happiness, believing that someday they will finally feel ready. But someday is an illusion. There is no perfect time. The only moment you have is right now. What you choose to do with it determines where you will be in a year, 5 years, or even a decade from now. Imagine someone who dreams of starting their own business but keeps postponing it. They tell themselves they need to learn more, save more, or wait until they feel more confident. Years pass and they are still stuck in the same place, watching others succeed while they remain on the sidelines. Now think of someone else who has the same dream but makes a different choice. Instead of waiting, they take one small step today. Maybe they research their industry, reach out to a mentor, or start working on their idea in their spare time. Over time, those small steps add up, and before they know it, they are living the dream they once hesitated to pursue. The difference between these two people isn't talent, intelligence, or luck. It is the choices they made. One chose to wait, and the other chose. Every single day, you are making choices that either bring you closer to your goals or keep you stuck. The question is, are you choosing growth, progress, and courage? Or are you choosing excuses, fear, and procrastination? Your future is not something that just happens to you. It is something you create, and the power to shape it is in your hands right now. So stop waiting, stop doubting. Make the decision today to take control of your life, because the choices you make now will determine the life you live tomorrow. You are not weak for feeling pain. You are not broken because life hit you hard. You are human, and within you is a fire that no storm can ever extinguish, unless you let it. Stop waiting for someone to save you. Stop hoping for a miracle. You are the miracle. This is your moment. This is your wake-up call. No more excuses. No more waiting. Stand up, take back your power, and never look back. Because discipline isn't just a habit. It's the key to becoming unstoppable.